we connect with our youth? Because what I understand nowadays, it's kind of difficult really for some parents that are saying it's difficult for them to communicate with their children. So tell us more.
That's a great question, and I'm certainly not the expert in the field. How do you connect with our children? Wow, it's consistency. It's that's the reason I'm having this symposium, and we'll talk more about it later. And I talk to my fellow mentors, organizations. How do you connect with the generation? And I think the issue is that there is a disconnect with our generation and their generation. And for years we've been saying, "Oh, there's something wrong. They don't listen." I think it's up to us as the adults, as the elders, to figure out a way to infiltrate their system. How do we like what they like? We understand their culture, their music is totally different than what we are used to. So as the adult, I think it's up to us to kind of adapt, evolve as adult in order to better understand our youth and better communicate with them. So the more you understand what they're going through, and again, this is psychologist stuff, child psychology, brain theorists. They understand this better than I do. I am a mentor. I've been working with kids for years. I've been an educator working with kids for years, a parent, and we still miss the ball. So the purpose of this conversation and what you do with the your organization is how do we get a better relationship, a more authentic relationship with our youth. So if I had the answer, I would be a millionaire. That's the $1 million question. How do we connect with our youth? So part of it is having these conversations and
Mm-hmm.
the collaboration that we're planning in the future on working with our
Alliance for Progress and working with the parents.
financial progress. Yeah,
Mhm.
communicating with both sides. Let's have a real discussion, and let's stop blocking out the youth's opinions and ideas. We need to listen from the youth also. And I love what you're doing as far as getting a better understanding of how the youth feel about their parents. Let's just be honest.
Yes. And talking about, thank you very much for bringing this up. Talking about the parents, a lot of times we want to serve, we want to connect with our communities from our own eyes when we are serving the youth. And I also want to thank your organization for collaborating with Alliance for Progress in understanding the youth better. So one of the questions that we have asked our youth. So how do you communicate with your parents? Do you feel like your parents support you when you are communicating with them? And all of us, what do we want? We want people to feel us, to see us, to understand that we matter. And I think nowadays, our youth, they express the same thing. When I was growing up, it was more like, you do what I say. Kids nowadays, it's like, oh, what about you? You telling me to do this? How about you? So they communicate, they respond, they connect differently. And, seeing how the world is changing and how social media is also impacting our children, our home, our schools, things are moving fast. What was, um, what makes sense last month, this month is a new thing.
Right.
So when you think that you're gonna go back to connecting with the youth from something that happened in the 90s or early 2000, it's no longer applicable. And you as a teacher, as a mentor, how do you connect better in with the other mentors so that they can understand how to better approach those kids when it comes to social media, the internet, and technology.
I think our youth, they just want somebody to be real and authentic with them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the mentoring is not a science. Mentoring is just walking by example. A kid is going to become, and I know there an organization that I am a part of, the 100 Black Men of South Florida. Their motto is they will be what they see. So whatever a child sees, whatever his environment is, and again, it starts in the home. I'm never getting away from that. It starts in the home. Whatever they see, that's what they'll become. If they're in a household that allows them to communicate and express themselves freely, that they'll be better communicators in school and in their community and with their friends. If they're in a household that stifles communication and stifles expression, that's what they'll become. So connecting with them starts with transparency. It starts with honesty. A lot of our parents, they and my relationship with my son got I'd say it progressed when I just became an open book. I was real. My faults. I'm not perfect. You know what I mean? I'm not that person, who has done no wrong. So I think allowing your being allowing your kids to being vulnerable with your kids allows them to feel more comfortable talking to you about what they go through.
This is Francois. There is something about what you just said about being vulnerable with your children.
Yes.
Um, you can call me an old school parent, and I'm okay with that.
I'm old school as well. I had to learn. I had to learn.
Yes. Depending on the how old that child is, and I think that nowadays I see a lot of parents acting as their kid's best friend.
But that's not what
And
being.
where do you draw the line
Oh
when
no.
it comes to being your kid's best friend and raising a child? Because a parent to me is not about being a friend. Yes, you have to give love, you have to be responsible. Responsibility is something that really matters to me when it comes to parenting. However, a kid is a kid. There are some traumas, some experiences, some burdens that I don't think a parent should share with a kid that is, let's say, from 0 to 15 years old. That child is not developed yet to understand or to know certain things, certain tough times that a parent went through.
Right. Well,
That's how I feel.
you have to use wisdom as the parent. You have to use wisdom if you know the kid isn't ready for that. Of course, you're not gonna tell a 5-year-old if you went through certain situations while you were growing up and they don't fully understand. And when I'm saying vulnerable, I'm not saying be your child's best friend. Vulnerable is just being open and
Hmm.
honest. And I think we all wear masks. And even as parents, we wear masks. We want our kids to see us a certain way. And then you know what the real trauma happens?
Uh-huh.
When they see somebody when they see you as somebody who you were not, when you're acting out in a way that you portrayed, but that's not who you are. And the kids just lose total trust
Respect.
and
Hmm.
respect. Be who you are. And again, my relationship with my son totally improved. Like right now, he calls me if he's having any issues, he calls me
Hmm.
first. We have a relationship now where he can tell me anything and he know I'm not going to be judgmental. We were afraid to tell our parents anything. You know, we wouldn't
Well,
tell
it depends on what age.
yeah, we wouldn't tell our parents certain things. My son tells me anything, but that's because he know I'm not going to judge him. because I'm not perfect. The mistakes I've made, he knows the mistake I've made, so he'll be like, "All right, my dad, I can tell him this because he's gone through this type of stuff, you know."
And you know what? I commend you on the way you are connecting with your son
It
and how
wasn't
you're
always like that.
able.
I just want to say it wasn't always like that. You know, the old school approach, the hard, because we're both from the same place, and my dad and my mom, they still don't play that. You know,
Uh-huh.
they still treat you like a child, even though you're 40, 50. They talk to you as you're a child. It still happens, be honest. You know? So it wasn't always like that with my son.
You
There,
know, when I was in my 30s, I got in trouble with my mom because she was telling me something like about eating. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, you did a very good job raising me. And I think you should lay off from raising me now because
it never stops.
I'm, she was so mad. Years later, she was still talking about that. And I'm like, okay, I'm
Listen,
sorry.
and I'm not gonna act like, I'm this new age millennial parent. It's still a tough transition, and we talked about educators and teaching. When I was in the classroom, it was tough for me. I couldn't make
Yeah.
it in there. I couldn't deal with those type of kids, and I worked with a a woman who, and she's into the therapy field, and she kind of tried to change my approach with our youth, and she was on the total other spectrum. She gave the youth free reign, free expression. You are a human. Who am I to tell you how to feel and how? And it was this psychotherapy, and you shouldn't tell a kid that they're wrong. When you tell a kid that they're wrong, you damage their self-esteem, and we have to build. And she was like, I understood what she was trying to do.
Uh-huh.
These kids these days, they see that and they smell blood. You know, they see you on, oh, that she's going to allow me to be free to be me. And they ran, they tried to run the place, but I still struggle with that. There
Hmm.
has to be a healthy balance. I understand, even with the friendship piece, I understand that kids are their own individual. You cannot make a child who you want them to be. You have to allow them to evolve the way God wants them to evolve. You're not God. You didn't create them. You might have birthed them, but you didn't create their personality, their ego. So I understand that piece and allowing them to be and evolve to what they're supposed to be. But there has to be a balance. I do have and I have a struggle with my parents in the mentoring group. My
Hmm.
parents, I have kids that are entitled, even working in the
Yes,
school
that
system.
entitlement.
Yes,
We're
that
going to talk
entitlement.
about this a
The
bit.
parents allow the kids to pick and choose when they want to come, why they don't want to. Oh, you don't want to go because, okay, it's fine. Oh, he said he didn't want to come today. Really? We have people who are coming out and giving their time to provide your youth with resources that they need. That's like you telling your kid saying, "Oh, I don't want to eat my vegetables." Oh, okay, you don't want to eat. So the programs that we have are the vegetables. It's not always going to be fun. You know,
Mhm.
Toastmasters for our youth is broccoli. You think it's boring, but it's good for you.
It is.
But the parents, if they will only allow the kids to come to if it's something fun, if we're going camping, if there's a basketball tournament, oh, the kids will say, yeah, I want to go. And the parents will let them go. But if it's something like Tai Chi or Toastmasters, financial literacy, things that help these kids grow. The
Hmm.
parents, the kids are going to say they don't want to go. But as a parent, you're the authority. You are the authority in the home. This Tai Chi is your broccoli. You're going to eat your vegetables. But
Yeah.
nowadays, we live in a generation where our kids are telling us what they're going to eat and what they're not going to eat. I don't
What
want.
they want to do and what they do not want to do,
Yes,
and thinking
I
that
have a
they
problem.
have free will.
I have a problem with that.
And I understand that we living in a time where our kids they watch everything that we do, everything that we sing.
They do.
we on the phone having some kind of attitude. When we get off the phone, we say whatever. And I know that it's good to be authentic in front of our children.
It's good to be authentic.
However,
It's
hmm?
it's good to be authentic, just period, not just in front of your children. You have to be, you got to be real. Who are you being
Yes,
if you're not
we
being
definitely have to be real. And what I'm going to say is not that people should not be authentic, but there are certain conversations that I don't think should be taking place in front of kids.
I
There
agree.
are certain attitude that should not be taking place in front of kids. And being authentic, there is a time and a place of doing certain things in front of our children. For instance, free speech, okay?
Mhm.
A parent that is talking to another friend, or even a husband and wife or mother and father having some kind of conversation. I don't think that some conversation should be carried in front of children.
Agreed.
Or also is good to apply wisdom. So being authentic, nowadays everybody's saying that you should be more authentic.
That's just life.
However,
That's just
I
life.
think that authenticity is not always there, even with the people that's always talking about
I agree with that as well. People love to throw that word out there. Be
it.
authentic, and you're so.
Be
Anyway,
real.
yeah, be real. Be
Be
real.
real. That's another thing. Be real. Be real. And you're like, okay, all right, be real. I
That's
hope
just a way of
you know
life.
that you're not real right now.
That's just a way of life. You know what I mean? Every day I wake up, if I feel I have to walk out of this door and not be who I am, then there's no reason for me to walk out. You know?
Mhm. However, I still think that in front of our children, there's a way to be. And as much as you want to be real, certain conversation or certain ways that you want to carry yourself, kids are sponges. The
But
things
what
that you
if?
do, the things that you say,
But they're
your
gonna hit.
attitude, and
They're
it even affect our children's mind and mental health.
They're going to see it
So,
out. They're going to see it out in the community anyway. They're going to hear about it out in their schools anyway. You can't shield your children from these conversations because then they're going to hear it on the internet. They're going to see it on social media. You know, they pick up this stuff from other aspects of their being besides home. So if you try to shield, and again, I'm not a child psychologist, like family
mhm.
therapist, I'm none of that. This is just through my experience of working with youth. You can't shield your kids from certain conversations because what they have on the internet and TikTok and social media is 10 times worse than what you can conversations that you can have with your child. So you're not hiding anything that they can't see. You
Well, the thing is, Dr. Francois, a lot of times it's not the conversation that you're having with the kids that is making such an impact on our children. It's the conversation that we're having with our friends, with our coworkers, with other people. And talking about being authentic, there are certain conversation that I don't think should be carried in front of children. And I still want to um, stay focused on that because too many times we see that certain parents, they are using free speech in front of their children, expressing how they feel about a situation, about someone, about their experience that they had at work. And I don't think that some of those conversations should be carried in front of children.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. So you're saying if they're having a conversation with a friend about an adult conversation, they shouldn't have it in front of the kids.
Yes.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I don't
So
disagree.
I wanted us to be clear on
Oh
this.
yeah, I wanted to be clear also. I wanted to be clear and understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah, having adult conversations in front of kids is not, that's not what I'm saying about being authentic. You know, if you're
Okay.
having adult conversations, the kids shouldn't be in the room. These are a conversation between adults that's not for your ears. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. And we are also experiencing how some of our children don't feel that they got the respect of their parents.
What is,
So
how do you
from
get
a recent
respect?
survey,
How do you get respect?
you get respect by showing respect.
Exactly. That's just that simple.
Hmm. However, um, some of the kids, what they have said, what they have shared with me is the fact that, their parents just lash out on them or even taking their frustrations on them.
Hmm.
And to them, that is a lack of respect. So it's not because they are not showing respect, it's because the parents, they feel like it's okay for them to download their frustrations on their children.
Yeah.
And this is something that we see happening a lot these days.
Well, it happened. It's not
As a
just
mentor.
not just these days. It happened in. I mean, my if my dad came from work and he had a problem at work, who he lashes frustration on? Us. You know what I mean? That's been going on since the beginning of time. And when we question our dad about that, he'd say, "Oh, my dad did the same thing to me." This is again, it starts at home. We have to unlearn these things. You know, you learned it because your mom lashed her frustration side on you. And then that's what you think you should be doing to your children. So that's the cycle that we have to, again, stop. But this is not, it's nothing new. My dad did the same thing and he still did. If he's having a bad day with his wife and we come over there, he's going to be frustrated and you could tell his attitude is going to be different. So yeah, that's nothing new. Deal with it.
Well, the thing is that, like you said, yes, we have all experiencing our parents just, if they are frustrated, they give it to us and
And it's
they
not
pass
right.
it on. However, nowadays, these kids, they have a way to express themselves better than we were. So, as a mentor, what message do you have for the parents that are dealing with those kids so they know that, you know what, find a way? What kind of um, tips or tools can they use so that way they manage themselves first before they lash out on their children?
That's a great question that you're asking. I'm just, and I'm not going to say I'm gonna not going to downplay what mentors do, but that's a question definitely for a family therapist. Like, what tips would I give parents instead of lashing out and having a better relationship and the communication piece? For me, it always goes back to honesty and accountability and that word that you don't like, authenticity. You
I
know,
do like it. I love it. I practice it
yeah.
daily.
So,
And
so
as a child of God, we need to be authentic.
yes, yes.
However, I think that it is very important that some issues should not be addressed in front of children.
Oh, that's
That
different.
doesn't mean not to be authentic.
No,
It's
that's
just
different.
a time and place for everything.
Those are two different conversations.
Okay.
I agree that certain conversations shouldn't be having in front of kids. Authenticity is just being who you are in front of your child, not wearing a
Yes.
mask. Take the mask off. Take the mask off because your kid can't see three different sides of you. Who is mom? And that's a way to that parents can the lashing out. Just be who you are. My kids can't see me one way this day, see me one, and I know that's not the reality of it. We all come home, we're tired from work, and we're
Hmm.
changed. We're our attitudes are different. This is just who we are as humans.
And
What I mean, you're thinking. I mean, somebody needs to really somebody who could answer that question is someone who's into mental therapy and mindful. How do you not lash out to your kid? What tips? Of course, you
I
breathe
have a tip. I'd like to share something.
before you come in your house. Take a deep breath. Yes, it works. Breathe.
It does. It does. And I can share some tips with you as
Go
a
ahead.
parent myself.
I need to learn this.
Okay. I had to apply it with my children. When my kids were younger, I was a quad interpreter.
Yeah.
So some of the cases that I see on a daily basis can be stressful. Then I'll go home and they'll start, mommy, can we, mommy, the needs that they have, okay? Kids have needs as well, parents that are watching. Kids have needs as well. And sometimes when they see you, they express their contentment or whatever it is that they're dealing with. And, they don't wait for you to unwind to start, saying whatever they have
Their needs come first. They
to
don't.
say.
They don't
So
care.
one of the things that I used to do, I would arrive home and then they'll start complaining or asking questions or sharing their needs with me. Then I'll look at them and say, let me go undress and I'll be right back. Sometimes it takes a bit longer depending on, how I feel. So they know that this is my time to get undressed. Or sometimes I say, if you need this and that, if you give me a few minutes, I'll be a better person.
Great.
Because whatever you ask me now will be enough.
That is awesome. Now again, you take 5 or 10 minutes, but I'm glad you said that you tell them if you give me 5 or 10 minutes, I will come back and I'll be a better. That is awesome. Those are the little things that you can do because
Mhm.
parents don't have it easy, and I'm pretty sure you didn't have it easy with your two kids, and you were this entrepreneur business woman out in the community, and then you have to come home. It's not easy, and some of my parents think I'm always on them, because being a parent is very you hold the outcome of your children's lives in your hands. So
Mhm.
you have to be mentally fit as well, and so we have to think about the mental wellness of our parents if we're gonna raise a population or a generation of kids. That's why the relationship I have with my parents, they have to be a part of the mentoring organization because it's not just about the boys. My concern is not just about the boys. My concern goes beyond our mentoring programs. My
Mhm.
concern also is about the household. How is the parent dealing with the kid? Because the kid can learn everything through our programs, mindfulness and Tai Chi and go home. If they go into a chaotic household, none of that we're doing matters. So the parent's mindset is critical to the development of our youth.
I
So
agree.
Alliance for Progress, what you're doing with the parents, that's why the collaboration that we're doing is needed because mentoring is not just about the boys. Yes, we love to work with our kids, but we
Mhm.
cannot, because I deal with so many single moms and what they're going through. It just it burns my heart because our single mothers go through a lot.
Yes.
We have the responsibility of the world weighing in on them, you know? So I do have a real soft spot in my heart for our mothers that are raising kids and they don't have the village. So that's one of the reasons that we at the Center for Learning, Innovation, and Change exists, so that we can be that village. The reason that we're doing the symposium is so that we can get all of the villagers together, all of our
That,
organizations. Let's get together and give Gayleen the answers that she's looking for, because it's not just one way to skin
mhm.
a cat, they would say. You know, their kids have different personalities, parents have different personalities, different situations here. How do you deal with it? So let's work together. Let's work. That's the global impact is not just for Miami or Dade County.
It's
It's
global.
Florida, it's global. We want the way that we mentor our kids to have an impact across the globe. I tell one of my kids, and he's going to end up running this country. That's
Hmm.
not just the world. So what we do in our little mentoring sessions is going to expand through this one kid. Through this one kid, it can have a global impact. You know, he has interest in other countries besides the US. So what we do with one kid will have a global impact, but we cannot forget the parents. That's why it's inevitable that we work together with Alliance for Progress, because you have, that's why it has to be a holistic approach to mentoring. Remember, a holistic approach includes the parents as well.
And Dr. Francois, one of the things that you have mentioned here that really uh, touched me is the fact that you are working with organizations such as ours, Alliance for Progress, to make sure that the parents also get some kind of mentorship, guidance, and training, because the work that you're doing, you don't want the kid to go home and
Right.
then all the work that you've done is like in vain, because when they go back home, they go to parents that are dealing with past trauma and not being able to work to deal with them and pass it on to the kids. When you're trying to build a lasting legacy, here it is that the real people that are there every day in their lives
Right.
have issues that are not being dealt with.
Exactly.
So I am very I commend you on this work, and I am glad that you decide to take on this path to not just to mentor our children, because I see a lot of organizations are getting a lot of attention when it comes to the youth. And Alliance for Progress is taking this direction right now to mentor the parents as well, is because of an experience that I had with youth. I'm like, those kids, they have to go home and deal with their parents with that kind of attitude. How is it that the parents are handling those kids
Right.
when they have no clue who they are? Because parents have a tendency of thinking, oh, they're just children, not knowing what it is that their kids know. So
Right.
how do you equip parents? And thank you very much for collaborating with Alliance for Progress, Inc. and the work that we are doing out there to make sure that the parents get the adequate training and connection and mentorship as well. And the symposium that you're doing, it's not just for youth and parents, it's also for the teachers, because the teachers have their own burdens. Here it is that those kids, they go home, they are bullying another child, another student, and it's because they have unresolved issues at home or untapped potentials that they feel like they should have a way to express it, And the teachers have to deal with that. And I'm glad that you're coaching, mentoring, and also creating this great platform where you're going to have mental health professionals to address certain issues. You're going to have other professionals that are helping children on this platform. So tell us more about this symposium.
Wow, this has been 3 years in the making. I polled some of the organizations across South Florida to see, what again, because I've always felt that there's still a gap between the mentor organizations, the educators, the coaches. And the first question you asked me is, how do we connect to our youth? In our youth. So you have great organizations in South Florida. You have, of course, 5,000 Role Models, Circle of Brotherhood, 100 Black Men of South Florida, 100 Diamonds of Excellence, so many mentoring organizations and Click. And I felt that we need to come together. We need to learn from each other. You're doing great in this area. How can I learn? How can my organization learn and bring that into my program? You're doing great with funding. Like you have $1 million. And again, I don't want this to be a competition. There's no competition for youth. There's so many youth out here with issues as organizations who, if we are really truly passionate about our youth and improving their lives, then let's come together. Let's come together, all of our educators, our coaches, our spiritual leaders, anyone who's working with youth and has a passion to improve in this next generation. My vision was bringing us all together one day, and let's just have these honest conversations. So we're having, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this organization. It's called Mentor. Mentor is a national organization. They are the lead research organization in mentoring with youth and adults. So one of the keynote speakers is going to be is the first president of the Florida Mentor. Florida Mentor just opened up in January, so she's gonna be our
Oh,
keynote speaker here, talking about funding and structure, organization building, collaboration. And she wants to come down here and help some of these mentoring organizations based on what they're doing through in Mentor America. We have Reuben Roberts, who's the CEO and founder of Reuben Roberts Consulting and Teen Talks. He's been doing so much work with the youth in our community. And then we're going to have all of these wonderful organizations. I hope you're listening. I hope the school board and Dade and Broad will listen and share this
and
information
Palm Beach.
in Palm Beach. Share this information with your educators because, again, we're all mentors. When you're teaching in a classroom with a kid for 6 hours a day, how many days are in the school year? 180, 170? You're the key mentor. Teachers are mentors
Yes.
as well. Teachers deal with teachers probably spend more time with the kids than the parents do. So I definitely feel that our educators need to be a part of this symposium. I want to thank the City of Miami Gardens and Councilwoman Katrina Baskin for supporting this great initiative. And this is an event that we plan to have on an annual basis.
Wonderful. I congratulate you on putting this event together. And how do people register?
Well, if you go on our website, click SFL, that's CLICSFL.org, you can click on the registration button and you can register through Eventbrite. Also, we're still looking for presenters. We're looking, so we have a couple of 2 or 3 spaces available for presenters. You can also go on the website and click the request for proposal,
Mhm.
and we'll look over your proposal and we'll get back to you to see if you have the right fit as a presenter for this symposium.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to ask, how can people qualify to be, on your stage for this great global impact symposium that you have
Yes,
going on?
clicksfl.org. And I'll share this flyer with you that the wonderful city of Miami Gardens put together. There's a QR code. Actually, the QR code goes to the Eventbrite. If you go on the website, click CLISCSFL.org, you can click on the presenters site, and then there's a request for proposal. We'll read your proposal and get back to you to see if you're a fit for this proposal, for this
Okay.
symposium.
Click SL
No, South Florida. Just think South
South
Florida.
Florida.
Click
Okay.
SFL.
Click South Florida, SFL.
Come
So
on. You're messing it. You're messing me.
it's
Click
SFL,
click
South
SFL.
Florida.
No South. Just click SFL. You're confusing the audience.
Okay, okay. If you move that way, yes, here's the flyer. Okay.
This is the flyer, but the website isn't on there. Click sfl.org.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. This is going to be great. I'm so excited. We have great speakers. We have great sponsors. I have an awesome project manager. Again, the city of Miami Gardens have bought into the vision. And I shared with the mayor, I said, Miami Gardens is trending in a lot of areas. We have jazz. We have racing. We have so much going on in Miami Gardens, business opportunities. Let's build a legacy for our youth.
I love
Let's
it.
build a legacy for our youth. We see what happened to jazz. Started years ago. Now it's one of the biggest. We have Loud, the Rolling Loud. Let's do something for the youth. Let's do something huge, and let's grow this mentoring symposium in Miami Gardens, and let's put out for our youth.
I really appreciate and love and admire the work that you and your team are doing, not just in Miami Gardens and putting this global impact.
Yep.
And what I understand is that although it's taking place in Miami Gardens, you touch one person that can really change many lives
Right.
later on or even today. All you have to do is to show, how can I say this? Show what you got, manifest your vision, start doing the work. One person at a time can make a global impact.
Man, I should have you I should have you on my commercial. That's it right there.
Well,
One person can make a global impact. And again, the fact that it's happening in Miami Gardens is great, but this is a South Florida event. So, like you said, we're going all the way from the Keys to Palm Beach. Please come together. This is going to be a great day of collaboration, of connections.
yes. And for all of you that are watching Front Desk Media today, remember, we represent all of our friends, family, ancestors. So practice greatness today and every day. And
Yes.
one person can make a global impact,
Yes.
one person at a time. Let your light shine. I don't know if you have some additional information you'd like to add, Dr. Francois. We appreciate the work that you're doing and
I
we're here for
appreciate
you.
you. I appreciate, and again, we've been working together for years. We reconnecting, but over maybe 6, 7 years longer, you are my key. You
It's
opened
been
up
15 years.
gateways to the communities in North Miami Beach and North Miami and Little Haiti. So you have always been there for me, and I'm glad that we're able to reconnect. Alliance for Progress, the Center for Learning, Innovation, and Change. And again, what I said about the parents, and it's so critical. We can't do the work that we're doing with our kids is for naught if we can also work with our parents. So thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to seeing you at our symposium. Hopefully, I'll get an RFP from you, but I am so excited. We're less than 40 days. Go on our website, purchase your tickets, become a sponsor, become a presenter, because this is the start of something great in South Florida.
It is the start of something great, starting with the kids, the parents, the, the teachers, and the different mentors. Because as we started the conversation behind the scene before starting this recording, I remember you said anybody can be a mentor.
Yes, it's all the
However,
time.
it's good to be a trained mentor.
A trained mentor. What is that?
Huh?
Who trains you to be a mentor?
Um, Self-awareness has always been something that I care for, and being a lifelong learner
Right.
is
I am.
one of the things that my parents taught me. And it's not about getting degrees only. It's also knowing who you are so you could better show up in life.
Right.
And to me, that is one of the best lessons. And as you can see, adjust the volume until the message is clear. The
Love it.
book
I love it.
is all about personal development and self-awareness.
I love it.
Yes. And I published the book last year. It's
So proud of
from my
you.
experience.
Said I'm so proud of you. You inspired me.
We do got it in us, and it's up to us to make this first step to manifest our vision. And
Yeah.
you're doing good. Years ago, I think I met you 15 or 16 years ago,
Yes.
Dr. Francois. What you're doing today is something that you always wanted to do, and it's manifesting.
It is
April is going to be April the 5th
April the 5th. Yes, April the
is
5th.
going to be a great day for
Betty
you.
Ferguson Recreational Complex.
Wonderful. And for all of you that are watching, hopefully Dr. Francis Francois will have the video that he can share with you later on. And as he said, this is going to be the first of a series of programs that are taking place. And one of the things that I love is seeing the youth that Dr. Francis Francois is mentoring. Those kids are so well mannered.
Yes.
It's just amazing.
But you know where that starts? I can't take credit for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what, where that starts, as much as we want to target our parents and says it all starts at home for the bad, it also starts at home for the good. So these kids that are so mannerable, it starts at home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Commend to the parents. You know, I give credit to the parents who are at home, who are doing the hard work. As mentors, we get to send these kids back home. You know, these parents, they have to deal with them on a daily basis. So I commend my parents in working with their boys, even though I am very hard on my parents. You know, with the entitlement and I say we're tenderizing our boys. Stop tenderizing this generation. Oh, they can't do this. Oh, baby. Oh, so, you know, they just stop it. But I love my parents because the kids are mannerable because the parents teach them manners at home.
That is amazing. That is awesome. I remember when my kids were young, someone told me, oh, you know what? You have a tendency, women, or more specifically, Black women, to raise the girls and baby the boys.
I see a lot of that, sister. I see a lot. It hurts me to my spirit to see the mothers and how they tenderize our boys. And that's a deeper conversation, honestly, because a lot of our mentors and mentoring organizations, they feel the same way. moms are tenderizing our boys, and our boys are not. We're not saying, oh, they should be manly, tough. But come on, mom. Playing with their hair all the time, and stay up, let them be. Even the boys, I see them sometimes like, mom, enough. Like, mom, stay off of me. You know what I mean? I know you guys love your boys, but come on, please. We're trying to raise men here.
You know what? This is going to definitely be a different conversation, how to love our children, how
Yes,
to show love to our children.
without tenderizing them.
Yes. However, it's important that we are responsible.
Yes,
It's true that freedom is exercising our rights, but we also have to take responsibility of our other people's rights. So,
explain that. Open up.
um, that's a different topic.
Yeah, that's a different topic.
When it comes to freedom, right? We always say, "Oh, I'm free to do whatever I want." Yes, you're free to exercise your rights. However, it is also important to pay attention to your neighbor, to the other people's that you are dealing with into consideration while you are exercising your right.
That
So
is
freedom is not free. Someone paid for you to have freedom today. So it's not just exercising your rights, it's also being responsible for your neighbors. To
that's
take your neighbor's freedom into consideration as well.
I agree. I agree. Can't disagree
Yes.
with that.
And let's all do our